has been around for many centuries. The tradition originated with the ancient Celtic festival Samhain, when people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as a time to honor all saints. Samhain was used to symbolize the end of a harvest season and the beginning of winter. We now know this day as Halloween, and we celebrate it by dressing up in spooky costumes, going around house to house and saying trick or treat, hoping for candy and not a trick. But the story I'm about to tell you seems to have more trickery than treat. Growing up in our neighborhood, me and my friends always knew of this one big old abandoned house that was at the end of our neighborhood street. This year's Halloween was supposed to be very fun, as me and 3 of my other friends were planning on sneaking into this house and exploring it after we were done trick-or-treating. Little did we know we were about to chew off more than we could handle. As the day went on and the night had started to set in, my friends came over to my house one by one, and we always met up at my parents' house every year because my parents always had fun activities planned for us, such as scary movies, ordering pizza. We had a big backyard too, so we would always play games outside as a family, including my friends. After we finished our food and finished all the activities, we started to get ready and dressed in our costumes to go out for the night. At the time, The Purge was one of my favorite movies, so I dressed in one of those Purge masks. We started off trick-or-treating with the houses nearby and worked our way further and further from my house, until we had gotten to the end of my neighborhood and right in front of the old abandoned house. By this point, we had plenty of candy to go around, so we decided that this would be the perfect time to end the night with an exploration of this house. We started off exploring around it, being kind of loud and obnoxious, making jokes, and just overall having a fun night, until we decided to work up the courage to actually break in through a window with a rock. Once we were in, we turned on our flashlights and began to explore. I'm not gonna lie, I was very terrified, but I was with my friends, so that made me feel a little bit better about this whole situation. At first, my friends were joking around, saying, "Did you hear that?" or making noises to try to scare one another. But this got old real fast. As the time passed, we started to hear actual noises. At one point, we even heard glass shattering. I still don't know why we didn't just leave after that. That should have been an obvious warning sign. But then, about 5 minutes later, we spotted an orange glow coming from a room. We were all curious onto what this glow was, so us being naive made our way into this room to check it out. We couldn't believe what was in the middle of this room. It was a random lit up jack-o'-lantern with candy inside of it. A lot of candy. Right away, I knew something was off, because why would there be a random bowl of candy in the middle of this old abandoned house? My friends, on the other hand, didn't think much of it and went all in. They were like animals. They swarmed it, and they all came back with a handful of candy. It was all butterscotch. I thought this was weird, but me being young, I also wanted some candy. So I went up to the bowl and stuck my hand in there. There was one handful waiting for me in there, just enough. But as soon As I grasped the candy and started lifting my hand out, I felt a sharp pain and a lot of pressure. I screamed in agony when I noticed that my hand was stuck in a bear trap, placed discreetly around this jack-o'-lantern. Oh my god, this was the worst pain I had ever felt. And immediately, my friends started to panic and screamed almost as loud as I was screaming, except I was crying. They started to try to help me, get me unstuck, but it was nearly impossible as the pain was too agonizing. And then, as if things couldn't have gotten worse, we started hearing footsteps getting closer and closer. Now, the panic was even more real. Now we really had to get unstuck. This was nothing but a trap, and we fell right into it. My friends tugged and tugged at my body as I screamed louder and louder because the pain was so immense. We started to lose hope as the footsteps grew louder and louder, and now they sounded like they were just right outside of the room we were in. Our lives were at stake, and I told my friends, just give it all you got, no matter what. They didn't have to be told twice, because before I could even finish my sentence, I felt the worst pain ever, and right after that, I passed out. I later woke up in a hospital, not knowing what had happened, but my friends told me that as soon as I passed out, they yanked my hand off. My family was there too, and they were all hysterically crying, just happy to see me awake now. Apparently, they had broken me free just in time, and with all their might, they carried me out of the back door and escaped just before the man walked into the door with a machete. The cops had scouted the area and looked for the man, but they couldn't find anyone there besides a broken jack-o'-lantern on the floor with pumpkin pieces everywhere and still some caramel candy pieces laying on the floor. To this day, I still don't know who could be as demented as that person was to do such a thing to kids like us, and why. What was their purpose? Why do this? And all I gotta say is never take candy from strange looking houses or people. Never eat candy that's already been opened. You never know what somebody could do or put inside of it. Always stay close to a group of people you trust and never go with strangers. Remember, on Halloween, the veil between us and the other world is at its thinnest, and there are truly demonic people out there that you have to look out for. And on Halloween, a lot of those demons tend to take advantage of the festivities and the anonymousness of having costumes to do their evil things.